Football conversations get loud long before they get accurate. Today, we're talking about what actually separates good teams from great ones, the football narratives people repeat without thinking, some real life moments every player understands, and yeah, we'll settle the best football movie debate too. Let's slow the game down and let's get into it. Yo! Welcome back to what is it, episode 5? Episode 6 of the Trust Troupey Podcast? If you are new here, please go follow on our platforms. Go like on our platforms. Go share on our platforms. You know what I'm saying? We're on YouTube, Trust Troupey Podcast. We're on Spotify, Trust Troupey Podcast. We're on Apple Podcast, the Trust Troupey Podcast. We even got a TikTok page for clips for you. Trust Troupey Podcast. We're going full into this. I believe it is episode 5. Yeah, how have y'all been doing? I think I'm good. I think I'm great. I think it's time to get into this. You know what I'm saying? I think it's time to get into this. But today we have a lot on the plate. We have a lot I want to talk about. We have a lot I want to get into. We got a lot we got to talk about today. We're going to start today with the first segment. What separates good teams from great teams in football? And I feel like a lot of things go into this. I feel like a lot of detail goes into this because and I think it varies on the level. You know what I'm saying? I think in high school, great teams are the ones that can execute their best plays at any moment in the game, no matter what it's called. You know what I'm saying? In high school, I think a lot of it also has to do with leadership as well. Having to do with, I think leadership is a big part. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm trying to think. So leadership is obviously a big part of high school. If you don't have good leadership, if you don't have a good group of seniors that want to win, you're not going to win anything. But on the vice versa of that, you also have to have a lot of young players that are willing to buy into what the seniors are giving. You know what I'm saying? What the seniors are selling, and that is what makes it obviously coaching on the high school level. Coaching, you're gonna need to have a coach that one has a tradition of winning, is bringing a tradition of winning to the program, and also a coach that is willing to put everything on the line for his team to win. You know what I mean? That's what makes a great team in high school. In college, I say it all the time on my TikTok page. The teams that win national championships every year are the teams that have a bunch of seniors that are bought in and want to come back and win a national championship. That is what that is exactly what gives you a national championship great team. Let's look at the last couple national champions. Let's think about it. One, the last couple national championships had great defenses that stepped up at the perfect time, had a great offense that stepped up at the perfect time, and a great group of seniors. I was about to cut. A great group of seniors that stepped up and said, "Hey, we have a chance to go to the NFL, but there's one thing we're missing here. There's one thing that we have not accomplished yet. There's one thing we have not accomplished, that there's one thing that we need to get better at. There's one thing that we need to put on that resume, and that's a national championship." Let's look at it. 2025 IU, great defense. A commanding leader in Mendoza, and a group of seniors that have been here forever that know exactly what they're doing. They know the game plan, and a coach that is willing to put everything on the line. Boom. 2024 Ohio State, great defense. A group of seniors that all came back and said, "We have a team good enough to win a national championship, and it's time." A great coach who had to prove himself and finally got the job done, and a commanding leader in Will Howard. Like, come on. 2023 Michigan, a great defense, a great coach who finally got over the hump, and a group of seniors that came back and said, "Hey, we have something bigger than what we want. We have something bigger than the program that we can achieve, and we know we can achieve it." Right? You know what I mean? Like, these things matter, people. These things matter, and I hope and pray that people don't get that thought and opinion that like national championships are bought. Yes, they can be bought, but people have to be bought in too. You know what I'm saying? People have to be bought into what's going on within this program. If you aren't bought into what's going on in the program, then I hate to say it. I hate to say it. You're not going to win anything. You have to be bought in. You have to be bought into everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? A big part of winning a national championship is just understanding, dude, this thing is understanding that everybody has to be bought into what's going on. Everybody has to be bought in to how things are operating within this program. And if you're not bought in, you can't be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not bought into what's going on, you're not winning a national championship. It's that simple, right? 2022, Georgia, a group of seniors that came back off of winning a national championship and said, hey, yeah, we are good enough to go win another one. We have a great coach on our hands. We have a great defense, one of the best of all time, by the way. We have a great defense. Let's go win another one. Let's put something aside. You know what I'm saying? There's recipes to this. And in the NFL, defense kills all. Defense wins everything. You've seen this year, Seattle had a really, really damn good defense, but they had an offense good enough to weather the storm with the defense. That's a part of the reason why Houston didn't get far in the playoffs. The defense is amazing, generational, in fact, but the offense couldn't weather the storm. The offense couldn't stay intact. The offense couldn't get shit going. You know what I mean? That's a big issue, people. I think people underestimate how good a defense is based on how a team is winning. Like, defense trumps all. Like, if I was a coach, I'm building my defense first. I'm building from my trenches out. I'm building defense to the offense. I'm going trench to trench. I'm going offensive line straight to defensive line into defense. And then I'm building everything else. Because realistically, you are nothing without a defense. You're nothing without a good offense, but you can survive without a good offense. You can't survive without a good defense. Because at some point, somebody's going to score more points than you. But if you are continuously shutting people out and continuously holding people to 7, 10, 14, 13 points, that matters. That absolutely matters. It absolutely does. So what makes a good team great? Defense. What makes a great team elite? Defense. Defense and good coaching are always going to be the backbone of how the game is going to work. Because, yes, you can have a game to where your offense, just think about it. If you have a game to where your defense is getting stops, your offense isn't producing, you can still win that game, right? You can still win that game because your offense just need one play, one drive to get you in field goal range, and now all you got to do is stop them again, right? But defensively, if you ain't got a good defense and the teams are just chucking away on you and teams are just doing anything they want against you, now we're looking at something. We're looking at the fact of the matter of y'all are going to get 40 scored on you. And how much is your offense going to withstand? It takes one pick. It takes one pick. It takes one pick. It takes one turnover. It takes one mistake from the offense. Defense is what makes great teams elite, right? And unfortunately, teams don't have that mindset anymore. People don't have that mindset anymore. You know how many times I talk to people and they're like, but offense is cooler. I'll be like, offense may be cooler to you. They may, whatever. But defense is what wins you ball games. Defense is what really shows you how good a team is, right? Defense is what's going to tell you, hey, I myself in this team can do something without them. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at a team like Owen Miami, right? Owen Miami would have went 8-4 if their offense didn't score a point. Definition of generational defense. They scored a lot of points on that defense. They got pick sixes. They did whatever they wanted, right? And it just made that national championship 10 times sweeter because that offense was also great with Andre Johnson and Frank Gore and all of these other Hall of Famers on the team, right? So, like, you got to look at it from the standpoint of these defenses are literally built to save the offense, right? Defenses are built to save the offense. People might not want to believe it. People might not want to act like it's true. Defenses are built to save the offense. They are. There's never going to be a time to where your defense isn't going to be important. And you can sit there and act like you have the greatest offense in the country. You will win 4 games. Let's look at somebody like Arkansas this year, right? Arkansas was like top 10 in every statistical category when it came to offense. Taylor Green was killing it. The offense was moving efficiently, but their defense was one of the worst I've ever seen this year. And they won like 2 or 3 games. You know what I mean? That's a factor. People don't want to believe it, but that's a factor, people. That defense matters. That defense is absolutely a factor. That defense absolutely is going to come into play at the right moment, at the right time, right? If you can shut out every opponent, you win every game, right? But you're not going to score 50 every game and win every game. You know what I mean? It's the vice versa in it. It's the vice versa in it. But ultimately, that comes down to coaching. You have to have a great defensive coordinator. You have to have a great defensive-minded coach that values defense, right? That's why I think coaches like Kirby Smart are up there. That's why Signetti right now is up there. That's why Marcus Freeman right now is up there, because those are 3 coaches known for getting their defense ready, right? Known for having elite defenses right now in the game, right? And yes, Notre Dame had that slip up earlier this year, but as the year got on, that became nothing, right? Georgia's defense wasn't Georgia's defense this year, but usually Kirby Smart has that defense in check. You think of guys like Dabo, he usually has that defense in check. You think of guys like who else? This is but like people underestimate how important the defensive aspect in this game of football is, because it's not just mildly important. It is quite literally the difference in winning and losing. The defense is the difference in winning and losing. Know what I mean? But like people ain't gonna understand that until it's time to have this conversation about which is more important, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I personally think a team is nothing without their defense, and I think every coach should be able to build out from their defense. I think you start with your O line and you build trenches out. You go O line to D line, or D line to O line D line, rush to the defense. The defense should be built first before you build any type of offense, and then from there you can be like, all right, now let's get our quarterback, right? Now let's get our receivers. Now let's get a good running back. You know what I mean? And it'll all put itself together. You know what I'm saying? It'll all put itself together. For example, Miami this year, Cristobal said it best. I didn't touch anything until the trenches was done. I didn't touch anything until the trenches was done and taken care of. I didn't touch a thing until the trenches was done and taken care of. I didn't touch receivers, quarterback. I wasn't even worried about Beck until I knew my D line was ready to go. My O line was the best in the country because they were up there. You know what I mean? And it paid dividends for them. It paid off dividends, man. It was great, man. It's great to watch them bugging, even though they beat Notre Dame. But it was great to watch them pummel people the rest of the year, right? But it goes hand in hand. You have to take it how you gotta take it how you look at it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what makes a great team elite is what makes a good team great is defense. What makes a great team elite is defense and coaching, right? I'm gonna always stand on that. Defense, you will never have a good team without a great defense. Never have a good team without a great defense. That's a part of the reason. Wait a minute, I have to get into this. That's a part of the reason I can't put 2019 LSU at number one. While that defense was good, it was solid. It had names on it, right? They for us to be putting them in number one conversations, their defense was just so underwhelming. You know what I mean? The defense was underwhelming as hell that year. Yes, you had all the firepower possible on offense. All the firepower possible on offense. Joe Burrow, Jettas, Jamar Chase, Terrence Marshall. You know what I'm saying? Moss. You have the Joe Moore winning O-line along with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, y'all looked amazing on offense. The defense was lackluster, to say its best. For a national championship team, they have one of the worst defenses we've seen in a while on a national championship team, right? Right? Defense matters, people. Defense matters. I know it's cool. It's a trend. It's cool to give credit to the offense for everything, right? It's cool to say Joe Burrow doesn't have a defense. It's cool to say that, right? But defense is going to take you places, man. The defense is going to take you places. But that's my take, my spiel on how I feel about, you know what I'm saying, how I feel about that. Let's get into segment 2. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been seeing a lot recently. What's the best football movie of all time, right? What's the best football movie of all time? You know what I'm saying? A lot of the same answers come up. A lot of the same things coming out. Oh, boy, all of this other stuff. Friday Night Lights, you know what I'm saying? As long as we can all agree that Remember the Titans is the best football movie of all time, as long as we can all come to a conclusion that Remember the Titans is the best football movie of all time, we will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You fumble the football, you run a mile. Best football movie of all time. But there are movies that can compete with Remember the Titans. Friday Night Lights. Put Booby in, you win. It's up there. The Longest Yard. Yeah, y'all thought I forgot. Up there. Waterboy is also up there. I'm trying to think. What are some other great football movies that people... All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you my top 5 football movies of all time. I'm going to give you my top 5 football movies of all time. Starting with number 1, Remember the Titans, right? Remember the Titans is absolutely number 1, right? At number 2, I'm going The Longest Yard, okay? Number 2, I'm going The Longest Yard. For how great that movie was, yeah. People love Any Given Sunday. I'm going to pass off on Any Given Sunday, and I'm going to go with... At number 3, I'll go Waterboy at number 3. You remember what Bobby Boo say? Bourbon Boy? I'm going to go number 3, Waterboy. At number 4, I'll go... Ooh! Little Giants. Hold on. What do y'all know about Little Giants? Little Giants is up there. Little Giants is 100% in that list, right? People love Invincible. I'm not a big fan of Invincible. Garrett Marshall was amazing too. Wait a minute. What was that movie about the team in Texas that played Friday Night Lights? The Blind Side is 4. My bad. The Blind Side is 4. Draft Day is really damn good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Was it Carter High? Was it Carter High? The movie? Yeah, it was Carter. All right, I got my top 5. All right, boom, 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 boom. You ready? At number 1, Remember the Titans. Okay, best football movie of all time. At number 2, I'm going The Longest Yard, not the old The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler Longest Yard. You get the point. At number 3, I'm going Waterboy. Okay. At number 4, I'm going. At number 4, I'm gonna go Carter High for those who remember it. At number 5, I'm gonna go Little Giants. Honorable mention the Draft Day, amazing football movie about the draft. Any Given Sunday's up there. There's a bunch of great movies that are, but those are my 5 that I grew up with. If you haven't watched Carter High, go watch that shit. That shit is amazing. It's literally the flip version of Friday Night Lights. They literally played Odessa High in the state championship. Yeah, it's the flip version of that. It's cinema. It's absolutely great. It's 100% up there for me. And like I said, it's in my top 5. It's number 4 for me. But um there are so many great football movies out there. There are so many great things to watch. I might go on a binge. I might do a little reaction thing on my channel about football movies. You know what I'm saying? I might start doing that. Would y'all rock with that reaction? You know what I'm saying? We might start doing that because I want to be in a place of where I can do anything football. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to limit myself to anything and anything. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to do everything. You know what I mean? So 100% gonna start doing some shit like that. Once I get this streaming, once I get the streaming shit together, it's gonna be crazy. But I don't know. I think like the best overall like depiction of football to me, I think the best overall depiction of football is Remember the Titans. I think the most realistic depiction of like football is Carter High. And I think the most overrated football film of all fucking time. I'm sorry, I'm going Any Given Sunday. I love that movie, but it's overrated to me. For as much as people talk about it, and like I don't know, but I think like the movie that might capture like the best like depiction of football culture. Ah, I'm talking like the way they're playing the game, the way all of that. It's hard. Draft Day might depict like the best like example of like what goes on within the draft. So that might be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. As long as we all can agree that Remember the Titans is the best football movie of all time. The lessons that was taught in that movie, the lessons that was, you know what I'm saying? It was beautiful seeing the linebacker. I don't even remember his name. The other linebacker, that's not Julius or whatever, right? Seeing him stand up for the black player, seeing him be like, "Hey, nah, I'm here to play football. If you think I'm sacrificing any relationship outside of football, you're crazy. You're right, you know what I'm saying? If you think I'm sacrificing any relationship outside of that, you're crazy, right? I mean, so like I definitely but I want to talk about that movie a little bit. Hold on. Ryan Gosling in that movie was a corner in that movie, right? Sunshine, I believe. No, that wasn't Sunshine. Ryan Gosling was a corner in that movie. He was a liability. Oh my God. Over there getting tackled. I mean, getting juked out, getting hit on double moves. Oh my God, he was a liability. He was awful in that movie. Jesus Lord, Ryan Gosling. I need you to lock in. He was not good in that movie at all. But boom. Let's move on to the next segment. I wanted to talk about football movies a little bit, but overused football narratives, right? Man, overused football narratives. Now, we're in a day and age of like people want to use certain narratives for every single thing, right? People want to use certain like arguments for every single thing, and it doesn't click a lot of the times, right? It doesn't click. But here are some of the narratives I feel like that like get overused and oversaturated at times, right? You know what I'm saying? I hate like the term like he's a blue collar lunch pail type of guy because like realistically we know what they're trying to depict that he's a hard worker. But like a lot of the times, if somebody calls somebody a blue pail lunch pail type of guy, a blue collar lunch pail type of guy, they are not good enough to get on the field. You know what I mean? Like they're a hard hat type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Those are the guys I think of that go hard on walkthrough days. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of guys when I think of like lunch pail type of like, bro, I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Another one is deceptively quick or fast players. He's deceptively quick. deceptively athletic. That's just another word for white. Let's call a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a spade. I've used this. I've used it a couple times because I don't want to be mean, but like let's be real here. Deceptively quick, deceptively fast. That's not a thing. You're either fast or you're not. You know what I mean? And that's just another word for white. You know what I'm saying? Gym rat. Those that like, oh, he eats weights. I'm gonna tell you this now. Those players that were classified as gym rats a lot of the time were just meatheads and didn't memorize plays and didn't understand plays and couldn't get on the field. That's me. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I feel like I saw that pretty often, you know what I'm saying? Plays the right way. Players that play the right way. That narrative, he just plays the game the right way. I'm sorry, something about that gives off. I'm trying to find it. It gives off like the game wasn't the same as it used to be. There's too many of these certain players. You get what I'm saying. It gives off racist. That's what it gives off. Because what is playing the right way? What way did you want him to play? He's playing the game in the best way he knows how and dominating in it. But, like, and you're talking about somebody plays the right way. I hate that. You know what I mean? You know, another one that, like, kind of irritates me or pisses me off is, like, when like people claim like the game is too fast for him, you know what I'm saying? It's too sped up for him. We need to slow it down. That's another way of saying, hey, this player probably isn't all that great, but we're giving it an excuse. We're giving the excuse of we need to slow the game down. We need to dumb the game down, trying to make him seem like he's not smart enough. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. A narrative that like coaches say all the time that like it deems true, it can be true, but it also has tendencies of being not true. We're getting 1% better every day. Huh? Yes, I get the narrative. I get the structure behind that. I get what we're saying here. Yes, let's get better every day. But why it got to be 1%? Why can't we get 10% better every day? You know what I mean? It's an exaggeration, you know what I mean? Because realistically, you know how many practices you would need to get 100% better if you're only getting 1% better every day? I think if you're getting 1% better every day, then you're not practicing hard enough. You know what I mean? You're not putting forth the effort to get 10, 20% better every day. You know? I don't know. I think another one that like pisses me off about just like the football space in general, right? About the football space in general is the phrase I hate the narrative in the phrase that goes along with this team plays a too high shell. That's why we can't throw the ball deep. I hate that so much. And I hate it so much because it's out of context. It's used out of context. You can throw the football deep in a too-high shell. A too-high shell is literally a pre-snap adjustment. It's what the safeties are in pre-snap. Why would a too-high shell stop you from throwing the football deep? Especially when there's this thing in cover 2 that helps you throw the football deep. You can play any coverage. You can play. Listen to me here. Listen! You can play any coverage out of a too-high shell. You can roll a safety down and play a cover 3. You can roll a safety down and play cover 1. You can also play cover 2 man where you have 2 deep safeties and your corners are manned up. You can also play a cover 4, dropping your corners back in a too-high shell. You can play any coverage. Mind you, in a cover 2, there's a thing about the corner is sitting low and he's going to sink. You have a little margin for error, but you put that ball on the sideline on a hole shot, that's a deep ball. You can hit that shot if you have a good enough quarterback. Anything across the middle is open too. If you occupy one safety on the other side and run a post, a slot post, or a deep post, that's gonna be open in cover too. But like, I hate that narrative that like, oh, the passing yards are down this year because teams are running more of a two high shell. Teams are running more of a two high shell because we have more mobile quarterbacks, and you're gonna need somebody and more help defending that, right? But that's not stopping quarterbacks from throwing the ball deep. What the hell? Well, we're not getting as many passing yards because no, we're not getting as many passing yards because defenses are getting better, not because they're in a too high shell. Like, bro, what? Y'all be killing me with that. That narrative will forever piss me off. I'm sorry, it'll forever piss me off. Forever. Because what do you mean, bruh? What do you mean? You know what I mean? I hate that so much. You know what I'm saying? I also hate this narrative going around football that like everybody's just a meathead and everybody doesn't know what they're doing and everybody is just so like no it's no substance to football. I've been seeing a lot of debates go along on the internet where it's like soccer players or basketball players are arguing with football players about the game of football, talking about there's nothing that goes into it. You just got to be athletic. That's like what kind of dumbass narrative is that? You just got to be athletic. What? Are you serious? Have like that's my thing. It's like the people who say this, like, how do you say this with with a straight face? You know what I mean? How do you say things like this with a straight face? How do you say, "Oh, all you gotta do is be athletic," when literally there's more that goes into football than there is basketball. There's more that goes into football than any other sport. How can you sit there and say that all you need is this, this, and this in order to be good at football? And let's get this straight right now. Let's get this straight right now. And I want you to understand this. Okay? Let's get this straight right now, right? Basketball players cannot play football, but football players can play basketball. I'm saying it right here, right now. Okay? Listen, basketball is the harder sport to master, yes. But football is the harder sport to play in general. One, not everybody wants to hit. Two, not everybody's going to have the time and the effort and the energy to learn a playbook, right? Not everybody's going to have the time, the effort, and the energy to actually think about the football game critically. And not everybody has the reaction skills to play football. You can't just plug and play somebody into football and be like, and I'm not saying you can plug and play a football player into basketball and he'd be great, but you're more likely to have a great big you can plug and play a big, maybe, depending on footwork and everything. You know what I'm saying? But football is the harder transition. You cannot just plug and play somebody in and play safety and right away and he'll get the shit, right? It's gonna take a year or two for them to be like, you know what I mean? There are basketball players that probably could make the transition with some months of practice and training and weightlifting, you know what I'm saying? But how is that going to teach them the ability to hit? How is that going to teach them the ability to have aggressiveness on the field, to have innate ability to play the team game? How is that going to teach them that? How is that going to teach them that the person next to you has to get their job done and you can't just take it over by yourself? Right? Like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I just feel like we have this conversation a lot and we miss some key points. We only bring up the simple points. We bring up the points like you just gotta jump high and run fast to play football. Well, a lot of y'all can't run fast enough to play football. You just gotta do this. Well, a lot of you, like I seen something the other day that said there's not one football player in the NFL that could go transition to basketball, but there are multiple basketball players in the NFL that could transition to football. Why are we lying? There is not one basketball player that could transition to football right now. Listen, there are players that maybe right now could go train for a year and a half and be solid players. Not the elite of the elite. You know what I'm saying? I think Anthony Edwards, if he trained for a year or two, could be a really good safety. I think Russell Westbrook could do that. I think players like Bronny, I think Bronny, if he would have played football, would have been, you know what I'm saying? Would have been different. But there's not a single player that can just come and make an immediate impact today, especially at a position like a corner. No, you're not going to be able to take a small guy and just be like, play corner. No, you still got to have footwork. You still got to have this. You know what I'm saying? You still got to teach. You can't teach aggressiveness. You can't teach passion. You can't teach that shit. You're not going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? And for the people around me saying that, it's ridiculous. Now, I think there are certain things within basketball that are harder to master than certain things in football. Like dribbling a basketball is difficult. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to handle the ball efficiently is difficult. Shooting the ball is muscle memory. You know what I'm saying? You get in the gym for a good 6 months. You'll be an okay shooter. You know what I'm saying? If you're shooting shots every day. But let's stop acting like the transition is just easy between the two, because it's not. It's not. It's not. And I've said this before. It's not. But we got to get out of that mindset. We have to get out of that mindset, because it's just simply, it's never going to be, what is the word? It's never going to be what you think it is. You know what I mean? It's never going to be what you think it is. But let's move on to the next segment. We talked about football narratives. I want to talk about like some relatable moments, right? Relatable moments that like all football players have gone through. You know what I'm saying? One of them being them football pads after practice. Oh my God. Don't let it be a wet practice too, right? I think every football player that has played football within the past couple years can admit taking off your pads after practice is the most frustrating but relieving thing on the planet. Oh my God. Don't let it be a wet practice. If it's a wet practice, it makes it 10 times more difficult, right? Oh my God. Taking off them pads used to get, oh my goodness. And then there were certain players that like genuinely needed help, right? Genuinely needed help, right? They genuinely needed help taking their pads off. It was bad, right? What the hell? What are we talking about? That is, oh my God, that was one of them things in football that like frustrating. I think every football player can also attest to like falling asleep in the film room. Falling asleep in the film room was one of the scariest things ever, because you never knew you were asleep, right? You never knew you were asleep. You never knew you were asleep until somebody tapped you or until the coach started yelling. Man, don't fall asleep in that damn film room. You fall asleep in that film room, you might as well walk out the door right now, because coaches take that more seriously than you fucking up on a play. Coaches take that more seriously. And then speaking of the film room, don't let you have a bad game. Them film sessions after a bad game. I had a film session one time, right? I had a film session after a game, right? I played the worst game of my life. So bad. And I just knew this film session was going to be so ass. I knew I was going to get first play. He sees the first play I fuck up on. He goes, Troupe, this is the worst football I've ever seen in my life. Oh, my heart was hurt. I was like, damn, coach. Fuck. And he was like, then another play came up. He was like, this is fucking ass. Like, one thing about it, if you're going to go to that film room as a football player, you got to have thick skin. Because coaches will say the most heinous shit to you. And you just gotta take it to the chin and go out there and fix it. You can't complain. You can't do anything, but you can't complain. You can't do nothing. You just gotta fix the shit. You just gotta fix it. Right then and there. You have to fix the shit. Oh my God. He tore me to pieces, bro. He tore me to bits. You gotta have thick skin. Gotta have thick skin when it comes to football. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think some other things like we can relate to. Them gloves smelled like shit. And anybody that said your gloves smelled great, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Yes, you can wash the gloves. Yes, you know what I'm saying? But After a long practice, your hands and your gloves smell like shit. That's just a normal common thing. And your hands are in a tight confined space and they're sweating. Why are we lying? Like, why are you trying to sit here and lie and say that, yeah, my gloves smell great? Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Fuck out of here. Like, I know how y'all get. Y'all be lying. Y'all be lying. Yes, y'all be lying. Like, y'all be pissing me off with that shit. Y'all be lying. But I don't know. What's some other things that football players can kind of relate to? Like if I brought up uh conditioning after practice was always ass. What else relatable? But things relatable that people can like trying to think because like I had one in my head. I'll get to it. I'm sorry. I'll get to it. I think okay. I think one of the things that like I think universally all things that like football players can relate to is like waking up before the ass crack of dawn. Oh my god, them 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. lifts were shitty. Especially in college. In college, like and like I've been seeing people talk about this, how like in college you'll wake up at 6 a.m. and see like somebody bench 515 like it's nothing. College weightlifting is literally a culture shock to you. You'll wake up at 6 a.m. thinking you're about to have a light lift day, and you're watching your center put up rep rep 405 on bench and rep 655 on squat, and then get to hang clean and rep 315 on hang clean. And like I'm not gonna sit here and act like there were some days I had to get active. You know what I'm saying? There were some days I had to get in that weight room and show who I was. But like there were some days I was like, it's 6 in the morning. Why exactly am I killing my body? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Oh, that shit was so ass. Wait a minute. I have to talk about this. I still have turf beads on my socks to this day. I still have turf beads on my socks to this day. What is up with that shit? All football players can relate to the turf being getting your shoes, getting on your socks. I have forever turf beads on my socks. Oh my God. That shit is so annoying. I have forever turf beads on my socks to this day. To this day, I have forever turf beads. It is the worst, worst thing to ever happen to white socks. And, you know, I was a white sock type of guy. You know what I'm saying? During games, white socks. Didn't matter. All black fit, white socks. I like my Nike socks. I don't know what to say about it. The white socks feel comfortable. I don't know what it is. I love my white socks. Jesus Christ. Oh. But then, like, another, like, relatable moment is, like, I stopped playing football about, I stopped playing football about 2 years ago now, right? It's been about 2 years. 2024 in December was the last time I suited up, right? The last time I suited up. And the way my body feels, you think after playing football your body should feel great. No, my body is deteriorating. My knees are on fire every time I do something. I lift every day. I need to get more running in. But god damn, my knees are gone. My ankles swollen. Ugh. Once you stop playing football, it's like your body just gives up. It's like your body says, you know what? Your time is done. Your time is near. Your time is done, right? Man. But I might do another segment of that next week because I really like those relatable type of football things, you know what I mean? But last but not least, let's get into these viewer questions. We got a couple of viewer questions. Got a couple of viewer questions. Let's get into those. Those are usually a favorite part of the episode. Boom. For my guy Gabe, first question. As an undersized linebacker, as an undersized linebacker and running back, what position should I focus on and how could I get better and actually get seen at a good school, right? Undersized, if you're an undersized linebacker, you have no shot. You can be an undersized running back as long as you have speed, power, physicality. I would say running back is if any position you want to be undersized at, it'd be running back. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you can trump undersized with power or speed, then you could still be a good back on the next level, right? But the problem with that is in order to play running back, you're gonna need to gain weight. You're gonna need to get in the weight room. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a running back going down on first contact, then you're not a running back at all. You're just somebody out there, right? So I say undersized lightly, as you can play running back undersized, but you need to get in that weight room. You need to start eating a little bit more. You need to start what my go-to method for gaining weight throughout the off season was 2 peanut butter jelly sandwiches a day. 2 peanut butter jelly sandwiches a day, whether it was at back to back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right before I work out, peanut butter jelly sandwich. Right before practice, peanut butter jelly sandwich. Right before anything, peanut butter jelly sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Anything, right? Gain weight in the right ways. That's how you gain protein weight, right? And make sure you're running a lot. Make sure you're lifting a lot. Because if you're just eating that every day, you're going to gain the wrong type of weight. But I say undersized lightly because there's no position you can really be undersized at. Whether it's now if we're talking height, you should be fine at running back. Height doesn't matter at running back. As long as you have that ability, you're fine. But as far as linebacker, you're going to need to be a certain size, a certain weight to play linebacker because you have to be downhill all the time. You know what I mean? You have to be able to withstand certain hits and everything. So take that with a grain of salt, though, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, take that with a grain of salt. Running back's probably the position you should focus on, though, I would say. All right, boom. Ooh, this is a good question. All right, I'm gonna lock in on this question. Damn it, hold on. We gonna lock in for this question, okay? The next question asked was if Notre Dame and IU played this year, who would win? Okay, and I'm gonna be as subjective as possible because I am a Notre Dame fan, but IU was a really good team this year. I think if Notre Dame and IU played, it'd be a great game. I think it'd be a lot closer than the game last year in the playoffs. I still have this this thought in my head that Notre Dame could have beaten anybody in the playoffs this year. I think we had the right DBs. I think we had the right pieces to stop their RPO offense. And I think we had the running game to be able to gash their defense like Miami did. I think and I say this because there's going to be people that's going to say, oh, he's biased. He's a Notre Dame fan. Of course he thinks Notre Dame's going to win. I do truly, to this day, think Notre Dame could have beaten anybody in the playoff field. I truly, to this day, think Notre Dame could have beaten anybody. Yes, we did lose to Texas A&M by a point. Yes, we lost to Miami by 3 points. That, again, I still, to this day, think Notre Dame could have beaten anybody, and I think Notre Dame would have won that game. I think the people in which IU played made them look elite. I think if we switch that bracket around a little bit, IU has a little bit of a tougher road, tougher path. I think they might still win some of those games, but I'm going to go with Notre Dame here. Yes, it sounds like the biased answer, and it's going to sound like the biased answer. I don't care. I do think Notre Dame could have beaten IU this year, and I think they beat them by 4. I think they beat them really close game, you know what I mean? Because the more I watched IU, the more I was like, okay, IU was a good team. I just thought I thought Notre Dame got snubbed first off. I just thought they did, but regardless. For my guy, Ricardo, right? He said, what's a defensive play call that had you like, oh yeah, it's time to make this money? I love this. I love this question. In college, we ran a lot of cover 9, cover 6, right? We had a play called Frosty, right? It was basically, I was a free range flat defender, but I was a robber in a sense, right? to where I'm watching quarterback's eyes and I'm just watching anything crossing my face, anything in my area, and I got to tee off on bubble screens. I got to tee off on anything. I got to go make plays. I got to go do all of that, right? Frosty, that play call for me was money. When I seen that Frosty signal, oh yeah, I got activated. It was time to go because it was my time to shine. It was my time to free reign. I had no like restrictions. It was go make a play. You know what I mean? It was go tee off on somebody. Go get that football. Go pick that ball off. You know what I'm saying? I love that play call. That play call for me was money. That shit was automatic for me. When I seen that shit, I got excited. And they always did it on big downs. They always did it on big downs. It was because like there were certain cues within the play, right? You see quarterback rolling out, that's me, right? You see bubble screen, that's me, right? You see screen in general, that's me. Go tee off on it. You see anything within the flat, go tee off on it. That was my shit. I love that shit. So yes, that was the play call that 100% had me geeked, ready to go. Yeah. But that was episode 6 of the Trust Troupey Podcast. I hope you guys love this podcast. It's going to be an every week thing. I'm going to get out an episode every single week. You know how that goes. I'm making sure everything's ready to go too. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go follow on the TikTok, Trust Troupey Podcast. You're going to see clips on there. You know how that goes. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel at Troupey Whoopie. You know what I'm saying? Go put post notifications there. You know what I'm saying? Go follow my main TikTok page at Troupey Whoopie. You know what I'm saying? Follow, go subscribe to the podcast pages. You know what I'm saying? On Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You know what I mean? Go subscribe to the Apple Podcast, Trust Troupey Podcast. Go subscribe to the Spotify. Oh, sorry, my fault. But go tap in. We're growing ever so slightly. We're trying to grow every single day. And listen, you ain't got to like me. You ain't got to love me. But you can trust me. I hope you have a great day, man.